tented trading space, the Aladdin's Cave, the souk and the Casbah, the bazaar, the area of the adverts. It's a long way of telling you that we've just come out of the ads, isn't it, George? I remember a man who said to me once in journalism, young man, he said, stand naked as a Grecian statue. Cut, cut, and cut again. I should take his advice.
Absolutely.
I didn't expect you to agree so readily there.
No. Well, I'm an editor, of course.
Yeah, listen, it's so good to see you. Newry television.
Yes.
And it's going well. The great things you're uploaded now onto that thing called what is it called? YouTube, which I don't know anything about, but it's great. And I see that all technology is changing.
It is, yeah.
Nokia out of business, they're closing, they're not going to be there anymore.
Right.
They'll service the old phones all right, but they're now with BlackBerry and being things of the past.
Yeah.
The iPhone is the creature responsible. This is George Kingsnorth, by the way. The Gullion Media is the solid, long-established company up there, publishing and films. And the new thing is online distance learning, and that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, yeah, utree.tv.
Utree, and that's as in a tree that grows.
And it's in a tree, and it's also U as in
Y-O-U.
And the idea is it's U, technology, research, education, and entertainment.
And the tree has it all.
And the tree has it all, yeah.
It's just there, you know, indeed. Now, it's interesting that you said something to me the other day, and I mentioned it somewhere, that when the sun rises on their working day in Australia,
yes,
all your lights come on.
They have done recently. We've had an influx of people joining the Udemy course, so we've actually launched a course on udemy.com to do with developing ideas, script writing, storyboarding, and
Udemy. What is Udemy? How is that spelled, by the way? We'll write this down. Andrew, if you can write this down, we maybe put it on the screen.
Yes.
How do you spell it?
DEMY.com.
You get that, Andrew? UDEMY.com, and we can put that on the screen for people to know.
Yeah, and
So these courses are doing what?
Virtually anything you're looking for is what is available on that. They're not accredited, but they're things that people are interested in doing just as short courses that they can do in their own time whenever they want to.
And so it's a wide spectrum of stuff.
It's a wide spectrum of stuff.
You have compartments on the shelf.
We do, yeah. We have a little store on the shelf, if you like.
That's a way of putting it.
And the film our course is called Digital Filmmaking Development, and we've called it Module 1 because we have plans for several other modules, including pre-production, which I'm working on at the moment, camera technology, sound production, editing techniques, and distribution. So they're the crux of what we're actually thinking of doing.
Do you sense nowadays, so we're coming down with media courses all over the place? And I remember once it was a Secretary of State, or was it? Yes, it was. During direct rule, he had responsibility for education, and I can't remember exactly who it was. But he said, when I think of media courses, I think Mickey Mouse. That was the way he put it.
Yeah.
And I kind of understood what he meant, because a lot of people who were going into media, it was a last chance saloon. They didn't want. It was an easy one, but those who did well soared, you know.
I think that the assumption, because the way technology is being used, and it seems as though it's an easy, quick, snappy, instant gratification, if you like. What they discovered fairly soon after joining courses like we were doing was that it's actually one of the most difficult courses, because you're having to deal with things like English.
Yeah, for a start.
Maths.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have to work out your budgets and everything
else. 9
else.
times out of 10, they will tell. My experience is the fellows who come to do this and the girls, they will tell you immediately, I done that, without a bit of bother. Oh, I done that. You know,
absolutely.
God help us. Bad grammar there at the heart of it. I often wonder, do the teachers, of course you're an exemplar of good teaching, but some of the teachers, what's their grammar like?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the difficulties, I think, is that English is something you have to practice, and there's a continuous need to practice it. I mean, I've written 2 novels, I've written numerous essays for courses that I've done, dissertations and things, and you're constantly having to practice. I'm constantly learning how do I tell stories using words, and trying to build up the confidence. It's not an easy thing, and a lot of creative people tend to think that, they can just go in and get inspired and write things. Writing is about research. It's about doing thorough research and making sure your facts are right, regardless of what story it is, whether it's a piece of journalism or whether it's actually a story for a piece of prose. You know, you need to actually to get it right, to make the world believable that you're actually.
You need to know what MI5 does and what MI6 does.
Absolutely, you need to know those sort of things.
What are the entrance levels into the SEALs, and are they similar to the Marines in Britain? Are they the SAS? What's the story?
Absolutely.
You need to know these things.
And I think, I mean, one of the things that I've done courses on education to become a lecturer, and what I began to realise was that learning is about learning how to tell stories. So your English comes straight back. You know?
And then, of course, you have the business of, you tell the story and you have the words to tell the story.
Yes.
You then need that extra dimension to your thought process that allows you to make the translation from the words to pictures and the combination, the marriage of the two,
absolutely,
that allows the thing to glow and be solid, you know.
And quite often when people talk about scripts, they think about the words that the actors have to say. But in many cases, what you're trying to do is to look at how do I tell a story pictorially, so that I'm not using words, and people look at the behaviour. I mean, much of what we're doing, we're having an interaction, and it's that interaction you're trying to give people. There was an idea that people watching TV are passive; things are pushed out to them. But when you're sitting there watching a film, your thought processes are kind of going, what's going on now? What's happening? I think because of the way he looked there, that this is what he's thinking. So you're analysing the body language, you're trying to work out what's going on. There's a lot of activity. And the one thing that you want to do with a really good story is when you get to the end, is you want to go off and share it with somebody.
Oh yeah,
I saw this really good story. Yeah. So it's
childlike simplicity.
Absolutely.
And you did this with me when we did the book, when we did the video for the book, and it was very, very gentle, very quiet.
Yeah.
And it was understated.
Yes.
It was whispered.
Yeah.
But there was a roar in the whispering.
Absolutely.
You know, and that was your directorial sort of skill.
One of the things I think, I mean, I've made a film called Monty's Quest, which I'm still working on. We hope to show it at the Newry Club in March, but there's a lot of animation. And I personally feel that I use too many words.
Yeah.
And what I began to discover is that sometimes the power of the image in the way that you put things together and you allow things just to gently can actually have more of an impact and be stronger and actually have more tension than if it's lots of words and all sorts of things.
You see, that's interesting. A fortnight ago down at the Brother Kevin Centre for the Homeless in Dublin, obviously in going to take any pictures down there, you're aware of the dignity of the people. Absolutely. And you do not show them.
Yeah.
So here was a problem. We were using an iPhone.
Yeah.
Licia, the artist, was doing it using an iPhone, and she was taking photographs.
Yeah.
And really what happened at the end of the day, there were 20 images of within everything from a notice that said, if you are in trouble with your rent, contact us, to the spoons in the drawer,
yes.
to me walking along the street pushing a basket full of coats.
Yeah.
And there was no words on it.
No.
At the beginning I said, now come with us now, do you see this? It's at the Dublin Homeless Centre.
Yes.
And be amazed.
Yeah.
And suddenly we brought up the music of Phil Coulter, Steal Away, Steal, and that took us right through it.
Absolutely.
It's exactly what you're saying.
It's the same kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that there is a difference between stills photography and video production. You can take a photograph, and in the moment you've taken it, it's something in the past. It's never in the now. It's always back then. But if you shoot a piece of video, regardless of whether it was shot 100 years ago or today, or what we're seeing now, every moment when you re-watch that video, you're always seeing it in the now. So it's a different thought process that you're having to do. So when we're
because people are talking to you, people are animated,
absolutely.
People are alive. They're
people
not
are
dead.
alive, but they're happening now. And that's the one thing that video always actually brings with you. So when you come to write scripts, which is something hard for a lot of students, it took me a long time to work this one out. You have to write your script in the present tense.
Oh yes, yeah. I always found that. Now, it was a huge thing in scripting. You really bring people. You bring the thing alive.
Yeah.
When you go present tense. You've seen it in the book.
Absolutely.
That we're suddenly there.
You're there, yeah.
You're bringing people. But the lovely thing is what you're doing in Udemy and what you're doing on U tree, T-R-E-E, the tree that grows, Well, what you're doing there, in many, many ways, finds its professional origins in your work with the BBC.
Yes, yeah.
Because 25, 30 years ago, that's where you were.
That's where I was, yeah. Well, actually, I would take it a step further back. I had two really good lecturers back in Bournemouth, because I studied film and television in Bournemouth. Nick Wright and Derek Wallbank. Derek Wallbank's no longer with us. But Derek was an editor and Nick was a cinematographer. And they had a method of teaching us things that were very, very practical. You know, you didn't have structured lessons, but you went in and you made. So what we had was effectively 3 years of professional practice to get our HNDs, which we did then. And what I've actually found is that material helped me get the work that I got in the BBC. It meant that when I was doing certain activities in the BBC, I'd already had some understanding of it because of the HND that I'd done. And it's literally carried me through 30 years worth,
Absolutely.
more so than the master's degrees and the degrees I've got. Now, I've enjoyed doing those because I'm developing my own mind. But what I was taught between 1980 and 1983 has actually carried me through the career, even now. So when I'm actually trying to make a little short film, I'm thinking back to what were we taught by those people, those you know, what did my teachers give to me? And when I was involved with the college locally, what I was trying to do was the same thing with my students, was to try and give them practical skills that would help them through their life, to something that there was a foundation that would build up and take them for the next 30, 40 years of their career.
Talking about the college, the college was at the beginning of the Southern Pines experience out in North Carolina, Newry's sister city. And really and truly, they send you the regards. I was talking to Denise the other day. They're hoping you're going to go back. And they want to do things there. That's Newry's sister city that you've been filming and doing things
Southern Pines,
with. Yeah, so good people. Now, we want to make sure people are in no doubt where to find you. And what's the best web page or they can get you on? What's the best thing?
Well, one of the starting points would be to go to utree.tv.
Now, let's make sure they don't get their spellings mixed up.
Absolutely.
Utree, Y-O-U.
Y-O-U.
T-R-E-E.
Yep.
Dot
TV.
TV. That's dead simple.
So we try to keep it as very simple and as short as
U,
possible.
Y-O-U, the tree that grows, T-R-E-E, dot
TV.
TV. That's it. And that's where they'll find you.
And what I'd like is if people would like to subscribe to the newsletter, or if they go to YouTube and again look up utree.tv and subscribe to that webpage, to the YouTube, then they'll get links to any video that we actually upload, which we hope to do one a week, which will be on developing their skills in video and animation, because animation is another passion of mine.
I've seen some of your work. It's good, and I love it. Yeah. We're almost there with the book. We're ready to push the button and print.
We are. We're getting close to that.
Which is very, very important. And that's my book of Caritas et Amor, in the Footsteps of Love.
Absolutely.
They can still see the thing on YouTube.
They can still see the thing on YouTube.
George did a promotion for it, and it simply is Caritas et Amor promo. That's all, and that's it, done and dusted.
And it's, I think, also on either the Utree or the Gully Media website. There's a link to it.
They can see it there.
They can actually see it there as well.
George Kingsnorth, in a week's time, maybe you'll come back and we'll take the story of filmatic activity that bit further.
Thank you very much, Ron.
God bless you. It's good to see you always. Thank you.
Thank you.